there's no way to explain how it went from being legendary, maybe the greatest boat of a ship or whatever. I don't want to be a 50s guy. Now they call them yachts or whatever, of all time, to going down. And now you have the Lions. I will defer to you, the professor. You not only go down, but you're going to lose both your, if they haven't already, both your coordinators.
Yeah. Right. That's why Tom Brady said it on, as much as people want to rake Tom Brady over the coals, he did say at one point, if it was either this game or the last week, when he said he looked at every new year and new season as the window of opportunity, right? Because everybody's like, oh, it's closing. Because nothing's the same. The Lions
Correct.
team that we have now is going to be different. Like whether it's some players they won't be able to keep, whether they change their coordinators. And that's the thing with this Packer team. Okay, so we had a new window. There's enough young people that you're like, okay, I think there's a window. What kind of window is it? You know, is it giant? Is it small? Do they have to thread, really thread this thing? And it does go to, as you said, like, who do you have to beat? Because now maybe your 7th seed was an accurate depiction of where you were in the conference. At least in terms of if they're going to keep doing.
You can't be. I mean, I'm the coach. Can't be a 7th seed. Can't be a 7th seed. Can't. I'm not sure you can be. I don't know what it is, but you're a 7th seed, and you're not going to do anything special. It's too hard.
I mean, they worked out a little before in their last Super Bowl, didn't they? Weren't they a 6th seed when?
Correct. They didn't have a 7th seed back then. Yes.
Yeah, it's not impossible, but it's
it's
a hard deal.
And I don't want to be. You've determined me as being very negative. No, I'm not negative. I think Packers are going to be a good team. Let's go. Let's roll it out. But, do I expect special?
We're not here to be good, are you? Nobody puts on their chalkboard in the front, hey, let's be a good team. My guess is that's not the top thing when Matt LaFleur goes to the whiteboard is let's
I
be
agree,
a good
but
team.
that's the choice we have. I mean, sure, I can say they're going to be the best team in the league and they're going to be a number 1 seed, whatever. There's nothing there to tell me to do that. So you'll get in it and you hope you shock the world. But who tilts the field? We'll ask Jason Wilde. Who tilts? You said the possibility of Jordan Love, and I would say that's probably at the top of the list.
It's like you've adopted my stance about this team over the last it's now I've convinced you and I can't get you out of it. that with a new offseason, now that's time for renewed hope and figure out how to get better.
All right, well, then you know what? Now you got something new to get me into, and Jason Wilde will be next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up next on 94.5 ESPN.
Well, it looks like we've got a vehicle fire on Highway 145 northbound right at Bradley Road. Northbound Highway 145 is closed right there because of this fire. So just be extra careful if you're going to be heading up through that area. Follow the detours on what they give you, but it is going to be a bit backed up into that area, so be prepared for that. Otherwise, for the most part, everything else is rolling along pretty well. We're really not seeing any other real incidents or delays, just a few broken down cars here and there. Traffic is brought to you by the Neal Group. They know how to minimize your taxes to keep more money in your pocket. Visit nealgroup.net to learn more. That's nealgroup.net. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, increasing clouds, slowly warming up, breezy with a low of 0, warming up to 6 above, with a wind chill of 10 below to 20 below. Tomorrow, scattered snow showers up to an inch possible, breezy, warmer with a high of 24. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Whether it's live or in podcast form, you've heard us on air with all of our shenanigans.
Gabe, I'm throwing some... Why are you throwing... I don't want...
Now see your favorite 94.5 ESPN shows streaming on video.
By me, by the way. I hit that microphone like 4 out of 6 times on that.
Subscribe to ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube and get notified when we hit the air live. Plus, you can watch back any second that you miss and see original digital content too. Watch, listen, interact. ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Looking for the most popular answer. What's the worst thing about Wisconsin winters? Gina Della from Pella.
Finding a sitter when snow closes school. Yay! It's the time of the year when we just want to be all warm and snuggly at home. And Pella helps make your home as beautiful on the outside as it is comfortable on the inside, with inviting doors to let friends and family in and beautiful energy-efficient windows to keep the cold out. Celebrate the new year with 0% interest for up to 3 years. Visit PellaWI.com today.
Certain restrictions apply.
Winning in the NFL comes down to the basics, blocking and tackling. In retirement, protection and income are the keys to success. Simply put, if you're nearing or in retirement, you can't afford a stock market crash. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons. Having played on winning teams with the Steelers and Falcons, studying game film was a key to success. Now I'm a best-selling author and star in a new groundbreaking documentary film called The Retirement Deception. It unveils how the Wall Street machine has been deceiving us for decades and proves you don't need to risk your nest egg in the market to have the retirement you deserve. This film shows you exactly how to protect your retirement from stock market drops and produce more income than you thought possible. I want you to watch this film for free. Call today for your free copy of The Retirement Deception. I think you would agree 30 to 40 years of saving for retirement is at least worth a phone call to watch this film and see how you can improve your retirement. Call today to speak with an all-pro retirement specialist to get your free copy of The Retirement Deception. Call 855-620-1801. That's 855-620-1801. MitchLyonsWealth.com. Your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement.
Homer here. I'm inviting you to join me starting August the 9th, as we explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations. A 10-day journey filled with legendary views, historic expeditions, and unforgettable tales. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. We'll also journey Ireland's breathtaking countryside and follow the stunning coastal route of the Ring of Kerry. We'll experience the daily life of an Irish family with a dairy farm visit, and even enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery. Plus, there's a stay overnight at a medieval castle. Join me for all of these experiences and many more. Visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com for trip information or come to Maddie's Barn Grill in New Berlin on February the 2nd to meet me and the Colette team. Colette handles all the details of the 10-day excursion, the flights, the meals, the hotels, the experiences. Your only job is to have the time of your life. Don't miss out. Learn all about it on February 2nd at 5 p.m. in New Berlin at Maddie's Barn Grill.
This is the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN. It's time for Jason Wilde on the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Yes, Jason Wilde and John Anderson. Not necessarily in that order. Professor, take it away.
Oh, I don't even know where to start that isn't new from last week, Jason Wilde, because I don't know that they played last week. So all the same questions that were available and on the table a week ago remain this time around. Give me kind of your order of operations that the team needs to go through as they evaluate and head into this offseason.
Well, I'm certainly glad, first of all, that Homer turned it over to you, because otherwise I have a lot of questions about the idea of being able to travel to Ireland with Homer. That sounds very appealing to me, so I'll have to go to ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com. Is that the site?
That's
that I
true.
need to go
or
to,
you can
Homer?
meet me. You can meet me February the 2nd at Maddie's Barn Grill in New Berlin at 5 o'clock, and I'll have all the answers for you. And starting with, well, you've met my wife, so you can meet her.
I just
and
also
say-
She's going too?
Yes, the wife is
you
going.
just sweetened the pot already. Yes, it's already
Yes.
even better.
Yes.
So to answer John's question, I think a
Okay,
couple
much
of things,
better.
right? I mean, I think first of all, I keep going back to this, and I don't think I got to talk to you guys. It wouldn't have been, because it would have been Thursday that Goody said this. But what Goody said about this idea of ramping up our urgency, that phrase was like, it came out of his mouth, and I was like, whoa. And then he followed it up with, it's time for this team to start competing for championships. It was like double whoa. And while that's obviously the goal, and while that's obviously, they call it Title Town for a reason, and I had included that in my question that elicited this response, the fact of the matter is that I think what his message was is that we're a young team. It's been great that we've had some success and been able to turn over the roster and absorb Aaron Rodgers' $40 million cap hit and all those things. But we made it to the playoffs the last 2 years, and those opportunities are not guaranteed each year, and we kind of squandered them. I think that's what his message was, that they had the 49ers on the ropes 2 years ago. Doesn't matter that you were ahead of schedule and you were in a rebuilding year. Once you're there, you're there. And they got there this year, and they had the chance against a not by any means perfect Philadelphia team that was only leading 16-10 in spite of getting all those turnovers from the Packers. And they had a chance to still win and advance, and they didn't get it done. And so I think what is high on Goody's priority list is to make sure that his constantly youngest team in the league roster understands that next year is not guaranteed. Otherwise, Dan Marino would have been to a bunch of Super Bowls, and these guys, most of them don't know who Dan Marino is because they're too young. But the fact of the matter is that they have not, in his estimation, taken advantage of their opportunities, which is an interesting perspective, given that those of us that have covered the team or talk about the team on a daily basis haven't really put that kind of pressure on this team, right? We've kind of said, it was great what they did in 2023. 2024, yeah, disappointment, but they were still they grew. They took another step forward in terms of their record. They're another year experienced, and he was basically like, that's not exactly how I see it.
How much of that message, because it sounds like that's to the team and the roster, how much of that applies to Matt LaFleur? I think it applies. I think, yeah. I mean, and first of all, you're exactly right, John. Like, he wasn't just talking to me, right? It was my question, but he wasn't just talking to me, and he was talking to the team, and those guys are going to see that. They're going to see. They will have seen it on social media. I don't know if they're subscribers to various news organizations, but it will get back to them. And remember, the general manager, much like Brad Pitt in Moneyball, does not address the team very often. You may not look like a winning team, but you are one. He does not talk to them, and so they'll find out about it, but they don't get direct communication from him. So this is in my opinion anyway, a shot across the bow to let them know what's up. And so, I think some of it is definitely directed toward the players, and especially young players who maybe don't have that sense of urgency. I don't think it's necessarily directed at LaFleur in a way of saying, hey, wake up, are you not aware of this? I don't think it's that, because I think LaFleur has that sense of urgency. He understands NFL standing for not for long. But what I think it does is it lets him know, hey, don't coddle these guys. Don't look at them and just say, oh, well, we're the youngest team in the league again. That stuff is over with. And, I don't know how tough Matt LaFleur is on his guys. I'm not saying that he has to be tougher than he has been, because I don't know that. But I do think that, when we talk about ramping up urgency, I think that also means ramping up expectation. And that means expecting these guys to play now like veterans who have, 1 year, 2 years, or in the 2022 draft classes case, 3 years of NFL experience. You guys aren't young anymore. I will say this. Goody basically said, to quote Aaliyah, age ain't nothing but a number. And basically said, look, I don't care that statistically we're the youngest team in the league the last 2 years. This is an experienced football team. And I think that messaging is directed toward everyone, including Matt LaFleur, of don't take it easy on these guys. We got to get to work.
All right, Jason, I got to ask you a question. The professor will come back. I think he's overrating the team's talent. I think he's giving himself credit for having a better team than he actually has. I don't want to say it's garbage, but he's just wrong. They're not that good to be what he says they can be. Like you have to ramp up your what's the word again?
Urgency, yeah.
No, dude, you got to come up with a few more players. This team isn't good enough. We bought that after the end of last season, but they ain't. So assess. He's putting it all on them.
I think that's a really fair point, Homer. And I would also say this. I think he's aware of that, right? Like, there's no way he got out of this season and looked at the wide receiver situation and didn't just say, yeah, we're totally good there, right? Now, he may not have any interest in, say, paying a T. Higgins, who's about to hit the free agent market, right, who he could have, theoretically, drafted instead of Jordan Love. And there were certainly those of us at the time who thought that they might have won a Super Bowl had they done that instead of drafting Love, but then who knows what they'd be doing at quarterback right now. But I don't know if he can look at his roster, objectively, because it is his roster. He's the one who built it. But I don't know if you can look at it objectively and not say, you know what, there are some pretty significant holes here that we aren't good enough in, right? Like my first-round pick of Lucas Van Ness, not looking great at this point. My first-round pick and then decision to pay Rashawn Gary, not looking too good right now, right? I mean, he tore his ACL, a month after he got that contract? Kind of the David Bakhtiari curse revisited. But those guys have not delivered, right? I mean, the two free agent signings, as I put it to him in my question, those weren't just home runs. Those were walk-off grand slams. And he said, I appreciate that. But they were. But guess what? You don't get to sit and rest on those because now you got $50 million in cap space. Now you got to do it again. And whether that's a corner, whether that's an edge rusher, whether that's Max Crosby or not, whether that's T. Higgins or not, whether you use your draft capital and move up and take a guy in the draft that plays wide receiver that's going to be a true number one, I don't know. Because the other topic that I broached with him, and I do want to get into this, we don't obviously have time, but I want to get into it with Tausch, is the concept of the number one wide receiver. I went through, John, you and I, and obviously Homer because he's been covering the team since Don Hudson, but we know the lineage of great number one wide receivers, and they were all homegrown, right? It was Sterling Sharp to Robert Brooks to Antonio Freeman to Donald Driver to Greg Jennings to Jordy Nelson to Devontae Adams to Alan Lazard. You know what I mean? Like that, there was this clear-cut lineage, just like the quarterback, but with more guys, of really, really, really legit number one wide receivers, guys that were all pros. And after they decided to move on from Devontae, they drafted all these guys, but we didn't see any one of them elevate to say, I'm the alpha, I'm the guy you got to have as the number one read all the time when it's 3rd and 6, and we got to get it. And so whether that's someone is able to emerge in 2025 or they draft someone in the first round for the first time since Javon Walker in 2025, whatever that is, they have to be better there. And Matt LaFleur, to me, the biggest challenge is, and I know I've beaten this to death and I apologize, but they have to figure out a way to take two good things and make them work well together. And what I mean by that is, one of the reasons I believe Jordan Love was as good as he was during the second half of last season was that they had Aaron Jones running the ball well. They had the offensive line playing really well, but their play action game was so good that it really, like you saw, and I asked LaFleur about this when he did his ending presser, like guys were wide open all the time. Like I remember after covering the Mike McCarthy era and guys having better talent at receiver that guys would make plays when they were even covered. I just remember the LaFleur offense comes here and I'm like, oh my God, guys are open everywhere. Like I know, Homer, you and I had that conversation. They're open all the time, which allowed a not super accurate quarterback to be really good. And this year, that just wasn't true. And when he uttered the phrase after the Minnesota game, we got to win our one-on-one matchups, that's a Mike McCarthyism. And so what happened to scheming guys open? Well, you changed your running style. You changed your blocking system to suit a really, really good running back. Now you got to figure out, how do I marry up the play-action game to fit what Josh Jacobs does well? Because they did not do it, and there weren't guys as open as a result, and Jordan Love wasn't as good as a result.
And we've run out of time, and even though the professor may have another question, but that will lead us to what we can talk about next week. because you've explained it, but it's still the shock of the whole season to me that you have this great running back, and all of a sudden, nobody's open the wide receivers. I don't get it. Thanks, Jason.
All right, guys. Take care. Be good.
Jason Wilde, all Packers all the time. You go to WisconsinOnDemand.com, and then you just hit Jason Wilde, and then you get all the different things he says on a million different shows. He alluded to this a little bit, so I'll mention it. Travel plans. Listen up. Explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations and me, yes, and my wife. On August the 9th, we're heading off an unbelievable journey. Explore the historic city of Dublin. Kiss the famous Blarney Stone. Stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. Visit an Irish dairy farm. Enjoy a taste or two or three or four at a historic whiskey distillery, and stay in a medieval castle. All right, you visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com, ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com, or February the 2nd, go to Maddie's Barn Grill, New Berlin at 5 o'clock. All the people will be there from Colette's team, and then I'll be there, and I'm guessing I should probably bring my wife. I'll ask that when we return with the professor. Next.
More of the Homer Hour coming up on ESPN Wisconsin. Join Homer on the trip of a lifetime to see the many shades of Ireland in August. Text Homer to 800-990-3776 for info.
We have a vehicle fire on northbound Highway 145, just north of the freeway, so watch out for that. Northbound Highway 145 is closed right now because of it. The rest of the system looking really good. Still standard speeds across the area. Maybe a quick brake check heading past 35th Street on eastbound 94. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, increasing clouds, slowly warming up, breezy with a low of 0, warming up to 6 above, a wind chill of 10 below to 20 below. And then tomorrow, scattered snow showers up to an inch possible, breezy, warmer, a high of 24. Weather is brought to you by National Liquor Mart at 16th and National in Milwaukee. Packed with the best beer, liquor, seltzer, and spirit deals in town. Open 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. daily, where your satisfaction is their plan of action. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
Be the MVP of gift giving with a Milwaukee Bucks gift card. From exhilarating Bucks experiences to unforgettable Fiserv Forum events, your gift card recipient can score tickets to Bucks games and other events through the Ticketmaster box office. Shop exclusive gear at the Bucks Pro Shop or get a favorite snack at Fiserv Forum's concessions. It's a win-win gift that lets them choose their experience. To purchase a gift card, visit bucks.com/gift cards.
Dr. Aaron Holtebeck and his team at Holtebeck Eye Center make vision care a top priority. They are your premium provider for eye care and corrective eye surgeries. Dr. Holtebeck has been helping local patients with their eye care needs for over 20 years. Dr. Nausheen Abbas joined the Holtebeck Eye Center team last September, and her practice philosophy is to provide patient-centered medicine by giving all options. Located in Brookfield near the corner of Calhoun and Capitol. Learn more about their services at holtebeck.com.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town, with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Mornings can start feeling the same. Wake up, brush teeth, go to work. But with breakfast from Wendy's, it's like, wake up, brush teeth, Baconate with a breakfast Baconator. Roll with the sausage breakfast burrito. Buddy it up with a honey buddy. Or get seasoned with seasoned potatoes. And then go to work. Sorry. When you're ready for a fresh wake-up call, gotta be Wendy's.
At participating U.S. Wendy's during breakfast hours.
Hey, it's ESPN Milwaukee's Kyle Walsh for Universal Windows Direct. Universal Windows Direct is offering an amazing deal right now. Buy 2 windows, get 2 free. That's right. For every 2 windows you buy, you'll get 2 more absolutely free with no limit and 36 months of no interest financing. Plus, if you've already received a quote from another company, bring it to Universal Windows Direct and they'll beat it. Schedule your free in-home estimate today or visit universalwindowsdirect.com, and like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
This is Kevin Van Rossum, president of Three Tree Marketing. Send gifts to appreciate anyone, anywhere, anytime with a gift of your choice by using our gifting solutions technology. Our team handles it all, from concepting, site creation, as well as production of branded products. Elevate your brand's connection to its consumers by creating the ultimate gifting experience with us. Make the art of gifting effortless for yourself. At Three Tree Marketing, we chase partners, not orders. Visit threetreemarketing.com to see what we can do for you.
You're listening to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home and Franklin. I tell you to go to Fisco Auto Body so you'll like them and you'll like me. Here's how it works. You listen to them. It's a family business owned since 1931. It's not what they do, it's who they are. They're so good at it. By the time they're doing it for you, they've been doing it so long. They can't tell you how easy it is, but the performance will. Expert workmanship guaranteed for the life of your vehicle. And then you go there and you find your auto body place. Your kids have your auto body place. Everybody needs an auto body place. And then you think, hey, Homer, thanks. And they think better of me. Fisco Auto Body on Forest Home in Franklin. Fisco, Fisco, Fisco. So you remember the name. It is the special Tuesday John Anderson Homer Hour. Marquette announcing that Mike Broker is the new, they don't call it athletic director anymore. Now you're vice president and director of athletics. And they'll have the official announcement at 1 o'clock on Thursday, or the first press conference. You seem like a guy who could have been an athletic director. Did you ever want to be one?
You know what? The guy who's the athletic director now at Oklahoma, Joe Castiglione, was an assistant minor athletic director back when I ran here. And there were a couple of times where I called him and I said, like, if I was ever going to get in your line of work, from the line of work I'm in, what would I need to do? You know, what do I have? Good
question.
Where would I, what questions do I need to ask? Where are holes in my resume? And so we chat a little bit, but not beyond that. And thank God I am. I don't want to raise that kind of money and deal with those kind of people and boosters and everything. That's awful. That thing is. Yeah. I know it's a relationship deal, right? But because you got
totally.
But
you got to suck up people. You got to raise money. You got to deal with coaches. You got to. I just wanted to coach. I don't want to be required to be nice to anybody. I can choose to be if I want, but I just got to win. That's all I want to do is win. If I win, then everybody will treat me right, correct? People will treat you well. And if you don't win, they'll find some reason to not like you. All right, should I bring my wife to this event for our trip to Ireland? Because, I'm not sure she really wants to come to the event for everybody to ask any questions. But if she comes up, it'll probably help the case because people will think better of me. They always do. People think better of you when they meet your wife. I don't know. You did 7.5.
Yes.
I like that. I'm not bothered by that at all. I just say she was in a slump, and it's fine.
I got asked by some friends. They're like, "Hey, can you come over Sunday, you and Tamara, for dinner?" And I said, "Well, she's out of town, and I know when people invite us over to dinner, a lot of times it has way more to do with her than it does with me. Do you still want to come over?" So, no, you should absolutely bring. What I just don't like, do I literally have to listen to this promo for the next 5 more months, 7 more months?
No. Oh, no. I'm new to this because I've never done anything like this in 45 years. But I suspect it changes as of February the 2nd. Like, then they need to have the people in. It seems to me, since I've heard these on other stations, this seems to be a good time of the year where they promote trips. And it might be because advertising might not be as strong in January as it is other times of the year. Right after the holidays. You'd be an expert on that if you asked your your people from ESPN.
Absolutely bring her. Totally.
All right. Now, I want to discuss what I said I asked Jason because I wanted to ask him, with Goody saying stuff like this, they have to ramp up our urgency. Okay, this is when these kind of things irritate me because I just think it's crap. You always have urgency. Did you watch the Packers and go, what? Did you think they just needed a more urgency? No, they just weren't as good and they made mistakes. They made mistakes that are not a reflection of urgency. You cannot have urgency and still not screw up the way they did, right? Do you need urgency to prevent doing the things? Like urgency because they don't realize how good they are? They don't. No, they take it away.
I disagree.
Okay,
I think
that's why I brought it up.
Overall, do I think they're good enough? Not yet. And I think we've probably come to that conclusion. Even last year when we were super high on them, what should they do? What should their goal be? Was like, hey, if they can get to the championship game, that would be something. So I don't know that anybody went in thinking this was a Super Bowl roster. I think we went in talented. But no, I think there were a lot of things that they showed. There were starts where it didn't seem to have any urgency. And you and I know that, right? You only get to play 17 times. How do you not have urgency? It's ridiculous that you wouldn't. But those last few games didn't seem to have any urgency. Some of the mistakes they make, I think, are a direct reflection of maybe not having urgency or competing strongly enough.
See, I blame that 100% on the coach.
Yeah.
Every team I've ever followed, everything I've been on, the sense of the team is determined by the coach. Now, it used to be you did it by fear, or I don't know what the different angles are, but the problem, and this is why this is tough, like, I never felt they were really that sloppy in his previous years. A coach has a certain standard that you get used to after a while. I've always thought he was too, I said soft, and now I say he believes in smart more than toughness. So you can't say that you've seen this coming. It seemed worse this year than before, and I'll defer to you again. Why?
Well, I
the players, I guess.
100%. It is on the coaching. That's totally on the coaching. And it could be very well the close calls they had. They took comfort in that. Oh, well, we were almost there. But the Vikings, did you have urgency when you came out, got beat by 28? No, and then you got close. And so I just think that maybe I don't know that I have the answer to it other than it is coaching. And somehow, you got to drill it into it. And you're right. I don't think you can't. The days of doing it like Bobby Knight might do it, or even Vince Lombardi might do it. What was it? Who was it? Bill Curry or the one that said when he told you to sit down, you didn't bother to look for a chair?
Yes,
I don't know that he
correct.
Do it. I can't do it. I don't think it was Bill Curry, but I don't know that you can.
No, that was said about Lombardi. That was Fuzzy Thurston or
he
somebody
said it,
said
but
about
I think
Lombardi.
Bill Curry is the guy who
Oh,
made
okay, correct. You're right.
Yeah,
who played for him? Yeah.
It was one of the players.
I want to ask you. So, and I'm going to have other people do this, but we're going to take a break. When we come back, I want you to be Goody, and they're interviewing you. And what would you say, the same or different than he said? Like, you got to wrap up the season, and what are we going to say? And so the professor being Goody, coming up next, the biggest Bucs fans deserve big Bucs prizes. Now's the time to show us yours. Bucs, if you already have a Bucs tattoo or a design in mind, your time to shine is now. Oh, you got to do it by today. Or no, wait, did we mess up? I think it was yesterday.
21st.
Take two. We'll do the next Bucs ones. Yeah, it was yesterday. I think you had it done. So I'll give you the other the Bucs and 6 with Brandon Jennings next.
The Homer Hour is back after this on 94.5 ESPN. With Wilde and Tausch, you won't miss a play.
Romeo. This 3-syllable, you have to take the O out of the equation. That's too easy.
Presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
Iota, right? Not one iota. Iota.
Yeah. That's only 4 letters.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
Let's pretend you're a first-time listener to Wilde and Tausch.
What the hell is this? They're discussing syllables.
On 94.5 ESPN, the Wisconsin On Demand app, and at ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube.
Homer here. I'm inviting you to join me starting August the 9th as we explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations, a 10-day journey filled with legendary views, historic expeditions, and unforgettable tales. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, and stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher. We'll also journey Ireland's breathtaking countryside and follow the stunning coastal route of the Ring of Kerry. We'll experience the daily life of an Irish family with a dairy farm visit and enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery. We'll even stay overnight in a medieval castle. Join me for all of the experiences and so many more. All the details are online at ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com. Don't worry about the planning. Colette handles all the details of this 10-day excursion. You can get full scoop of this once-in-a-lifetime trip on February the 2nd at 5 p.m. as I'll be hanging out with the Colette team at Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin. That's February 2nd, 5 p.m. Maddie's in New Berlin. Don't miss out.
Ready for a win? Well, it's your year. At Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, you could win over $2,000 in free play every month all year long. Just play your favorite games and you might take the stage in the It's Your Year game show. 25 winners each Thursday. There's $300,000 in cash and prizes up for grabs this January. Yeah, we think it's your year. More info at paysbig.com. Must be 21 years old to play.
It started with a prediction.
Go out there and play basketball and win.
And how many games?
6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
UW Credit Union presents the Student Athlete of the Week, supporting local student athletes as they grow on the field, in the classroom, and in the community. UW Credit Union is here for every you. Learn more at uwcu.org. Here's Ashton Rotman with the UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week.
This week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week is Arrowhead's Natalie Cuso. The junior guard for Arrowhead's girls basketball team continues to see her star rise this season. After averaging 23.7 points per game as a sophomore, the junior Cuso has raised that to 26.5 points per game this season, including 35 points in the big win this month over Milwaukee. She also put up 34 points in a Warhawks win against one of the top-ranked teams in the entire country. According to ESPN, Cuso is a 5-star recruit and is already being recruited by heavy hitters in college in the Big Ten and ACC, among other conferences. Congratulations to this week's UW Credit Union Student Athlete of the Week, Natalie Cuso, and good luck the remainder of the season.
Coors Light presents To Chill or Not to Chill. When your friend skips your favorite song on the playlist. End the friendship. Or choose chill because that song lives rent-free in your head anyway. And you planned ahead by bringing Coors Light to the party. And the sound of that ice-cold can cracking open was music to your ears already. Coors Light. Choose chill. Celebrate responsibly. 2024 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado.
Welcome back to the Homer Hour on 94.5 ESPN.
John Anderson's Goody, after I get to say it one more time. Travel fans, listen up, explore the many shades of Ireland with Colette Vacations and me, August the 9th. We're heading off to an unbelievable journey. Explore the historic city of Dublin, kiss the famous Blarney Stone, stand on the spectacular cliffs of Moher, visit an Irish dairy farm, enjoy a taste or two at a historic whiskey distillery, stay in a medieval castle, and meet my wife. Visit ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com, or February the 2nd, everybody should go to Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin. The Colette team will have all the details, and I'll be there. My wife will be there. It'll be 5 o'clock, February the 2nd, at Maddie's Bar and Grill in New Berlin, again, or ESPNMilwaukeeTravel.com. Can't wait for this segment. Oh, baby. We now have Goody, the Professor, 7'2.5", John Anderson version, and what he would have said as his opening statement when asked, as all general managers do, to assess the season, and he did so last Thursday. Take it away, Professor Goody.
I think I'm going to disappoint you because I don't know that I can slip into that role, because I think what he would like to say, he's got to couch some way, because you can't. I don't think that sending things, messages through the media is the best way to go if I am that guy. So I don't know that I can do that. I would say, frankly, though, if I was him, the season was not what we had hoped. Yes, we improved record-wise, but I don't know that we improved overall as a football team. I would make a note if he thinks he has enough, right? I think, do we have a belief? I think we have enough here to compete for the championship, at least in the conference and so forth. If he doesn't, he can say that. Hey, we still need a piece or two that we come through that. I don't mind the urgency. I think people saw that. At least I the number of times they came out slow. I think maybe I don't want to throw my team under the bus too badly. And I think that was kind of a velvet hammer that Jason was talking about. I think more of it is the coach, or if he wants to get in the locker room and say that, then I don't think you mince words. Guys, you got to be tougher. You got to compete harder. It's great that you're young, okay, but that part's over. Everybody gets to be a grown-up now. This is the NFL, and on Sundays, the the idea that, yep, we're young and talented is different than being young and successful. And so I would just make it perfectly clear to them that while, yeah, you won 2 more games than last year, I think most people and the expectations we had for this team was a disappointment. And it's on those players to be better. It's on our coaches to coach them better. And I think, honestly, I think LaFleur has more work to do in the offseason than anybody. Is how do I get this team back? How do I get to do, how do I get them to play with that urgency? How do I get them to play where they seem like they are super competitive, that they've got some nasty to them, that they show a physical toughness that they don't always do that. And, get with Goody and say, hey, by the way, I might need, X. But I think the whole thing comes down to how Matt LaFleur handles this situation and handles his team. I don't know behind doors. I don't think he coddles them. But what he has to do, I think, is we're into some maybe more of a tough love situation. You're not better, then eventually you don't get to play here anymore.
Yeah, you're better at Goody than Goody. I would have only thrown in we're good. Everybody look at me. We're good, but we're not good enough. The final 10% is the hardest. It doesn't make sense. You'd think to be the 90% is hard. No, the hardest part is that final 10%. I got to be better. Coach got players, everybody. We just have to be better, and that's our job, and all decide what to do. But I like what you said about LaFleur. And my question to you, and we'll talk next time. But how did the offense not go? You got this incredible running back who has a great year, and yet receivers weren't as open as they were the year before. Anyway, all right, Goody, you were awesome. You have a job if you don't want to be a professor. You have a spokesman for general managers in the NFL. Marquette
Do I get
basketball.
one last goodbye?
Yes.
Congrats, CC Sabathia in the Hall of Fame, 2008, greatest pitching 3 months I've ever seen in my life. Good for him.
Yes, agreed. Thanks for the final word. Next.
We're wrapping things up. For the most part, looking pretty good across the entire area. Nothing major other than